All right, so girls, what one word or so do you consider when I say what makes a mom virtuous? Who wants to go first?
Quick to admit when they're wrong.
Quick to admit when they're wrong. I love that. Isn't it irritating when somebody won't admit it, whether it's a kid or a husband or whoever, right? Yeah, admitting. I love that. I love that. I do that. I do that. Anyway, go ahead. Who else? Virtuous when you think about a mom.
Okay, I mean, along the same lines as what Brittany said, humility is huge in our house. So the kids know that I am not perfect. And I think I'm unique in this respect in that I have my kids with me all the time because they're homeschooled. So it's not so much, well, yeah, I guess it is that I do make more mistakes simply by default because they're with me longer. So I have more opportunities to make mistakes with them than a mother perhaps who has their kid in school,
Mhm.
from 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. Just by the simple, the value of them not being there, you have less opportunities to screw up in front of them. But me, oh my gosh, I am like, you know, carved wide open for them. So I make mistakes all the time, and I have to be humble and say, you know what? I'm only a person here, and I am not God. I make errors, and I am sorry. I yelled at you. I shouldn't have. I mean, just the other day, I was so frustrated. We have our house on the market. We have another home that we just closed on, and I had yelled at my 7-year-old. And I said, just get out of my face. And it was immediately, God was like, whoosh, what the hell you doing to her? And she ran out the door, got on her little bicycle and started riding down the road. And I was like, I am a jerk. And I started crying. I got in the car. I drove after her
Oh,
and I stopped her on her bike. Woo! I stopped her on her bike and I got her off and I held her and hugged her and I said, I am so sorry. I am such a jerk right now. The stress got to me. You never, ever deserve that, ever, from a
oh.
mother or anybody else. You never deserve to be yelled at like that. I don't want you to go away. In fact, I need to hug you harder and more than I ever have right now. And I am so sorry. And I asked her, will you please forgive me? And she held my face and she said, yes, I forgive you. I said, I am so, so sorry. And you know what? I have been darn sure to check myself before I open my mouth to my kids since because it's true. She never deserved that. Little Tiffany never deserved that either. But then
Hmm.
the pain and the trauma of my past comes back, and that's how it comes out. And then immediately I say, no, no, this is not how this is going down. And to ask your child for forgiveness on your knees, basically begging them to to hold your heart in the palm of their hands and be tender with it is incredibly humbling. But I will, and I did, and I will continue to do that to make life better for them so they don't repeat the same trauma that I had going forward. And I'll be darned if their trauma was caused by me. So I am incredibly aware of that level of humility I must exhibit to them to give them a better chance moving forward than I had.
I love that, Tiffany, because there's probably somebody listening and they needed to hear that because it hadn't even occurred to them. Yeah, I love that. Okay. Melissa, did you give yours?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say humble, but I think Tiffany definitely covered that whole
She sure
whole word.
did.
Yeah. So probably leading by example. I think a lot of times as parents, we expect our kids to act some ways or act a certain way, and then we don't act that way ourselves. And I actually catch myself getting upset with my kids and speaking to them in not a nice tone. And then they speak to me in that same tone. And I'm like,
Mm.
whoa, whoa, you want to try that again? And I'm like, wait, I just sounded exactly like that to them. So how am I supposed to expect them to talk to me nicely if I can't talk to them nicely? So that's actually something I'm personally working on, but definitely leading by example is a big one.
I love that. Everybody's was great.